So you had to have attended this webinar or another webinar in the past. Um, you have not been awarded before, so currently we're only accepting applications from providers who have not ever been awarded. If you've applied before and not been awarded, you can absolutely reapply. Um, if you are a family child care provider, so this is not for centers, you need to be licensed, early childhood licensed in the state of Colorado or in the pre-licensing phase. And so what that means is you need to have a license number. If you are renting your home and you're asking for more than $2,500 in funding, $2,500 or more in funding, you do have to have landlord approval. So that would just be a letter stating approval from your landlord. Um, you must serve children from birth to 5 years of age. We're not saying that that's only the ages that you have to serve. You can, some programs serve, 5 through 12 or 3 through 6. That's absolutely fine, but you must serve children within that age range. You agreed to submit a 12-month report. We're no longer doing the 6-month report. Now we're just doing the 12-month completion report. So a year after you're awarded, we have you submit a report. If you're not done within a year and you need some more time, you would just reach out to me, and we'll make arrangements on when you could get your report in. Again, if you're opening a new program, you need to have obtained a license number. The maximum amount that can be requested is $5,000. So if you have a $10,000 project, and you ask for $10,000, you will more than likely be denied the grant because we only give out $5,000. And this is because we want to make sure the project is going to be completed. If your project is going to cost more than $5,000 and you have other funding, you can let us know that and then let us know where the other funding's coming from. And when we go over the application, I'll show you where to do that. So these are just some things that you will need. It's best to kind of have everything all together when you first start the application in case the application times out on you, or things like that. So you will need a current legible copy of your license. So we need to be able to see the month and the year. And it does need to state that you're a family child care program on your license. If you're in the pre-licensing phase, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you would just submit those documents, and we'll talk about what those documents are in a little bit. You need to include at least 3 before photos. So these need to be photos of your project before you start it. So if you're asking for help with replacing a fence, we need to see the pictures of the fence before that starts. The pictures do need to be in picture format, right? So that usually has those endings with JPEG, PNG, or JPG. If you use an iPhone or iPad, sometimes those photos will be saved in HEIC formats. And unfortunately, our reviewers can't open those. So you would need to go in and either you can right click and save as a different format, and you can save as the JPEG, PNG, or JPG, or PDF if you need to, which is an Adobe file. You do need at least 2 bids, right? And there's 2 different ways you can do bids. So, for example, if you are having a fence put in and you're having people come out to do it, they will need to come out and give you a bid, and you will need bids from 2 different places. And this just shows our funder and our reviewers that you are shopping around and you are getting the best price, and you're looking at licenses and safety and things like that for the children. If you have 2 different projects, so say you're putting up a fence and you need mulch for your backyard, you can give one. bid for the fence and one bid for the mulch, and that would count as your two bids. The second way to do bids, if you are not having anybody come out to do the work for you, so let's say you're going to put up your own fence, and you're going to do it on your own, then what we would need for a bid is all of the supplies you would need. So you would maybe go to the Home Depot website and put in, the wood planks, the nails, um, anything else you might need to build a fence. And then you would just screenshot a picture of that cart, and that's what you could submit for a bid. Okay, so that way, if you're not having somebody professionally come out, we still understand what materials you're buying and what you need, and that would count as your bid. Again, if you are asking for $2,500 or more, you do need that landlord support letter. If you're in pre-licensing, you will need your pre-licensing documents, and this includes um, having a documentation with your license number on it. Um, you will need, we do suggest that if you are requesting items, that you attach photos of the equipment that you're wanting to purchase. This can be if you are wanting to um, purchase a certain type of mulch or a certain type of toy, you would just submit a picture of it on your budget table. This just really helps the reviewers understand what you're wanting to purchase. Our reviewers are from all over the state and in different capacities, such as state licensing, Colorado Shines, other early childhood stakeholders. So they can look and make sure these are things that are going to be safe for the children. They are okay with licensing and okay with Colorado Shines. And so all of your documents, except for the pictures that we talked about earlier, they should be in Word or Adobe format, which is PDF format. So you cannot were you gonna say something, Nola? Lynette? Okay, sorry. Um, you cannot submit image files for anything other than images required, right? So when it asks for your license, even if you take a picture of it, you're going to have to change that to an Adobe or PDF file, because it won't let you submit it as a photo. So one thing we do want to let everybody know is that there are no reimbursements. There's no guarantee of award once you apply, right? And so due to this, we can't reimburse for any projects that you have already started or completed. So this application doesn't close until May. So if you start your project next week that you're asking for money for, we wouldn't be able to award you. And that is something that is set by our funders. So we can't really go back on that. So you need to wait until you have official notification of award before you start your project. We don't reimburse for any work that has been started or completed. You also cannot apply to be reimbursed for a prior project you have completed. Um, and again, that is something that's set by our funders. So here are some eligible projects. These are things, this is not an indefinite list, right? Other things can go on here. This is just some things that we have thought about over the years of doing this grant and what has been awarded. So when you're looking under things like health, safety, and licensing, so fencing, heating and cooling systems, lead or asbestos mitigations, hazardous or unsanitary flooring, appliances. So if your refrigerator quit working or your dishwasher quit working, those are things you need to run your program. Fall zone material, air purifiers. If you're looking to expand, so maybe you want to bring your family child care program into your garage. Um, we have been known to award that, a small addition to the home or remodeling for licensed space. And then when you're looking at new program or startup, so starting a new program, some of the fees that come with that, toys, cubbies, cots, other things that you're going to need to run a program out of your home that licensing is going to require. And then some of those startup costs. And then here's a list of some non-eligible projects, right? So when you're looking at health, safety, and licensing, so any vanity updates to your flooring, right? For example, you want to replace the flooring only to match another space, or you're wanting to replace the flooring that is not in your childcare space. That would not be eligible. Any types of decor, learning materials such as curriculum, remodeling child care spaces for aesthetic purposes, remodeling areas of the home not used for child care. New program startup, we don't cover tablets or laptops, smartwatches, other technology, any marketing, reimbursements of fees or licenses or any costs that have already been paid because you have already paid that initial fee to get your license number. That's not something that would be eligible for this project. Another one is vehicles. Um, we don't fund any money towards a vehicle for your program. Um, Other things that we won't fund are projects with no specific outcome or output, any retirement of debt, consultants, and this this includes Colorado Shines consultants, things like that, salaries, mortgage, rent, down payments, etc. So we'll talk a little bit more about pre-licensing documents. So you must have have been assigned a license number and have that documentation to apply for pre-licensing. And so when you pay that initial application fee and you send in all of your application documents, you'll get assigned a license number right away. So that is what you need to send in. It also can be your pre-licensing training documents. So you will upload those as well. If you have any other documents that pertain to pre-licensing or your situation, there's space that you can attach more of those, and I'll show you that when we go over the application. So for programs who are not in pre-licensing, you must be in good standing with the state of Colorado. Your projects and materials must comply with all licensing standards. And just something to keep in mind, if you're moving to a new home, you do need to be re-licensed. So that's something that you'll want to check on before you ask if you're moving. So these priorities, these are set forth by our funders and our stakeholders. We want to have statewide geographic dispersion. Our goal is to address unmet service gaps, and this includes family child care deserts and serving those serving vulnerable families. And then increasing capacity and access to family child care programs across the state. That is one of the big priorities of our funders. So I want to go over the review process a little bit because this can be what's most frustrating for some providers. So we just want to let everyone know how this is going to go. So as I mentioned before, reviews are done by key stakeholders throughout our state that are familiar with early childhood um, programs and settings, those with early childhood Colorado state licensing, Colorado Shines, and those that are very familiar with family child care programming because it is a unique program. So reviews can take from 8 to 10 weeks to complete. And that's because we usually get at least 150 applications, if not more. So it takes time to go through all of those, make sure they're finished, send them out to the reviewers, and then we give the reviewers time to really be able to look at the application and give it all the consideration it deserves. So it can take up to 8 to 10 weeks. Once those reviews are completed, it's going to take me 7 to 10 days to really organize that information and get notifications out, right? I need to organize all of the um, comments and decisions from the reviewers. And then I need to get all of the documents ready for those being awarded and those not being awarded. So that can take me up to 7 to 10 days, especially if there's a lot of applications. All notifications are made via email. So you should make sure to check your spam folders for emails. Um, if you got an email when you first signed up, make sure you save that as a safe sender or safe contact so that you're able to get those emails in the future. And now I'm going to let Anola go over our Bill.com process because she is the Bill.com master.
Hello. So Bill.com is the payment processing platform that we use to give you your money. So it's really important. What will happen is once you are awarded, you'll get a letter from Shannon. That letter will have paperwork that you sign and send back to her. And once you do that, we can enter you into the bill payment system. So the next part is something that you all will have to do. Once we put you in the system, you will receive an invitation from Bill.com via email, and it will say the Early Childhood Council Leadership Alliance wants to pay you. That is not spam. Please click on that and open that and click the invitation and it will take you to set up your account. And once your account is set up, you'll add your bank account and then we'll be able to pay you. So that step is really important because we only do direct deposit. We do not issue checks. Um, and yeah, the quicker that you're able to take care of that as soon as you see it in your inbox, the quicker it is for us to be able to pay you. And let me see if there's anything else. And so once we do that step, it takes about 3 to 5 days from the time that you've set up your account for that payment to go through. What happens is it's entered into the system by our accountant, and then they make sure it looks good, they approve it. I make sure it looks good and I approve it. And then our executive director, she does that final review and then she pushes the button that says pay. And that takes a little bit of time. Um, and I actually misspoke because it does take a little bit longer than that. From the time Megan, who's our executive director, pushes that pay you button, then it takes 3 to 5 business days and it is deposited directly into your account. If you are awarded and a lot of time has gone by and you're not seeing your money, please reach out to us as soon as possible so that we can take care of that for you. We are all human and sometimes mistakes happen, and we've had situations where, a PDF didn't get to the right place, and so we didn't get somebody in the system. So just keep in touch. My email is, I will put it in the chat. It's enola@eclacolorado.org. Just make sure that I am on your safe sender list so that I can reach out to you and talk to you. And I will let you know if there are any issues that I see on my end.
Thank you, Anola. All right, so these are just some tips for success. And the first one I can't stress enough. Don't wait till the last minute. We are dealing with technology and a website that, sometimes it can go down or sometimes it doesn't save your work or you can't get the attachments up. If you do your application in enough time, I can help you with those things. So I actually am not part of the review committee just so that I can offer you guys technical assistance without it being a conflict of interest. So if you're having those issues, it's better to apply sooner than later, and then you can contact me and I can help you with those issues. Use Google Chrome as your browser. The application website plays very nice with Chrome. It doesn't tend to play very nice with other internet browsers such as Safari or Firefox. Um, have your documents ready ahead of time, right? Have your pictures ready and formatted, have your license ready to go, have everything that you will need um, with you when you go to fill out the application. When you're looking at your project narrative, you really want to make sure that it explains your project in detail. Our reviewers really want to know what your vision is and what you plan on doing. Um, and it should contain what's in your budget table. So if in your project, in your project narrative, you're talking about putting up a new fence, but then all you have in your budget table is mulch or ground covering, that doesn't really make sense to the reviewers, and you're not going to get awarded because they don't know if you're asking for a fence or if you're asking for mulch or what's going on. So just being very specific and intentional in what you put in that project narrative. Save as draft often. So when you know, those of you that may have applied already, if you go and look on, there's tabs. After you finish one tab, hit save as draft. After you finish the next tab, hit save as draft. Doing that often will just ensure that your work is not lost. Unfortunately, it does still happen. We've been working with the administrator of our website to make sure that it doesn't keep happening to certain people. So I always suggest writing out your narratives in a Word document first and then copying and pasting so you don't have to start over if you lose your work. Okay. Um, again, when you're looking at your budget table and your project narrative, so make sure your budget table adds up and that it matches the project described in your project narrative. When we go over the application later, you'll see more about what I'm talking about, but there's a green check mark on each tab. So you need to make sure there's a green check mark there because that means that page is finished and it's been saved. If you don't see a green check mark, that means something is missing. And sometimes it takes a minute to figure out what is missing, but you can't save as final unless all of those green check marks show up for you. So when it comes to technical assistance, so if you're having any issues with the application or you have any other questions, you can contact me at any time. Email always works the best at first because, again, talking about technology, I have internet phone and it doesn't always ring. So I don't realize I've had a call or a message. So if you do call and you haven't heard from me in a couple of days, I would shoot me a quick email. Or you can just email your question to me. I have that with me all of the time. Due to the volume of applications that come in on the due date, um, no technical assistance is available on that day, right? So that's why I say um, it's better to get your application in sooner than later, so that you can get the technical assistance you need. Okay. Um, exceptions will not be made for any technical difficulties. So if you wait till the last minute and you're not able to get help, you're just not going to be able to get your application in for this round. And we can't make any exceptions because then we'd have to make exceptions for everyone. Applications will be due at 5 p.m. And again, I'll just stress it is best not to wait until the last minute to submit your application. So these are some frequently asked questions that we've had over the years that I just kind of want to go through real quick. So how will I be notified about my award? So you will be emailed. You will be emailed an award packet that will have everything for you to sign and things to fill out to get you paid. Who do I contact if I'm having technical issues with the application? So you will contact me. Anola, do you mind throwing my email in the chat? Um, that's my email there, and you can also find it on our website. I missed the deadline. Can you open the application for me? So unfortunately, no. We do give about 6 to 8 weeks for each app for people to apply. So we cannot open the application if the deadline is missed. What if I need more than $5,000? You'll have to probably apply to some other places um, find some way that you can get help if you need more than $5,000. If you do need more than $5,000 and you don't have that money to cover it, you're more than likely not going to be awarded, because each reviewer wants to make sure the project is going to get done. So they're going to make sure you have that extra funding. My family member or friend is offering to do labor for my project for free. Do I still need a bid? So you don't need a bid, but like I said before, you would want to um, take a screenshot of your shopping cart of wherever you're buying the materials, or letting us know. And we say a shopping cart from a website and not something handwritten, because that can change, right? Taxes change, prices change. So instead of having like a bid, we would like to see something from a shopping cart where it shows you actually know the price of what you're buying. Okay. How long do I have to complete my project? So you have a year from the time you're awarded. If you need longer than that, you can always reach out to me and we can figure something out. What kind of reporting do I need to do to complete my contract? So when you finish and you fill out that 12-month completion report, you'll be done with the grant. And that report consists of narratives that you need to answer. You will need to attach your receipts and you will need to attach invoices and after pictures, because we would like to see what your project looks like after, and comparing those before and after pictures. And then if I wasn't selected for funding last round, can I apply again? Yes, you absolutely can apply, even if you've applied before. So the next grant application deadline is May 1st, 2026. That is a Friday at 5 p.m. So remember, on that Friday, no technical assistance will be available. So if you wait to apply until then, or you wait to finish it until then, just know that I won't be available to help you with anything. And then here is who to contact. Um, so we are unable to give updates to applicants before award notifications have been sent, right? Because we don't have them. So we really do appreciate your patience as our reviewers ensure that your application gets the time and attention that it deserves. So for anything application related or things like that, you would contact me. For any payment inquiries after you've been awarded, that is when you would contact Enola, because she can help you with that bill.com process. Do you have anything to add, Enola? All right. Let's move on to the application. So you'll want to create an application. So when you first see this page, you're only going to see two tabs. It's going to be your consent to electronic communication, not electric, and your eligibility. So you'll want to read through this. This basically states that everything is done via email and electronically, and that you will click that you accept. If you don't accept, you won't be able to apply for this grant, because maybe it's just not a good fit for you if you don't like things communicated electronically. And then you have the eligibility tab. So you want to put in your name, your personal email, and then if you have a different business email, you would put it in here. Put the email that you want to be notified with, put that one first, okay? And then you need to select if you're a family child care program, and you would want to hit yes. Are you licensed in good standing through the state of Colorado? So you would hit yes if you are. Or if you're in pre-licensing, you would hit in process. Okay. Have you received a childcare home improvement grant from ECCLA in the past? And so if you've gotten grants from other places that isn't ECCLA, that's absolutely fine. You're still eligible. But if you've received a grant from us specifically, then it would make you not ineligible. It would make you ineligible. So if you accidentally put yes, you will have to reach out to me so I can reset your application because even if you go and change it to no afterwards, it automatically marks you as ineligible and I will have to go in and fix it. So you'll want to put no. And then is your project needed for health safety issues, licensing issues, expanding or opening a new program? And you can hit yes or no on this one. It's not going to make you ineligible or eligible. We just like to have that data. And then you would put the date of the webinar. And then you'll want to hit save. Enola?
So this is very off topic, but I got a question in the chat that I am not sure about.
Okay.
Um, and so if somebody's project ends up costing less than their bid, and less than they're awarded and they have money left over, what do they do?
So they would want to reach out to me and we could look at other things they would need for their program that would align with the funders. So we have had this situation come up and we don't want you to send the money back. We will find a way for you to spend it. Perfect. All right, so after I clicked save, you'll notice that now we have 4 additional tabs. And so you can click through these tabs. But you'll notice that we have green check marks on our consent to electronic communication and eligibility. So those are done. So now we're going to go into the applicant information. So you would put in the name of your program. So the name of your program is what you have named your childcare. If your childcare is just in your first and last name, then that's what you'd put for name of your program. The phone number, the address, and then name of the contact person if it's different than you. If you want somebody else who's being contacted, maybe you're having somebody from your council helping you, and it's easier if they get the information instead of you. You would put that phone number here, or you would put that information and the phone number here. Um, and then we want to know, is your mailing address different than your physical address? So a lot of um, providers in rural areas and things like that have a PO box and they have a physical address. So if that's the case, if you hit yes, um, it's going to have you fill out the information right here for that difference. Okay. If you hit no, that then you don't have to fill out anything else. Then we want to know if you rent or own. If you click rent and you are asking for $2,500 or more, this is where you're going to put the letter of support from your landlord. Okay. If you own, you don't have to put anything in. And then are you opening a new program? If you hit yes, this is where you're going to put your pre-licensing documentation. So this is where you're going to upload those files. 2 of them are required, which is why there's check marks right here. If you have more than 2 documents, you can add them here. Okay. But we're going to say no for right now. So then we want to know what county that you are in, and then your child care license number. Okay. This is where you're going to upload a copy of your childcare license. Make sure that it is in an Adobe or PDF format. Make sure that we can read the expiration month and the expiration date. And then you're going to attach it here. And then your Colorado Shines level, your license capacity. If you have a 6+8 or 6+2 license, you could just put in 8. You don't have to do 6+2. And then we just want to know the number of children you have enrolled from birth through 5. And then birth through 12 for some reason if you go up to 12. The year you opened. And then if you have any types of accreditation, whether it's NACCE, NA, FCC, if you're not accredited or don't have any accreditations, you would just hit NA for not applicable. And then we want to know how many months a year you're open. And then we're going to go through the demographic information. Are you a profit or nonprofit organization? Most family child care programs are for profit. There are some nonprofit. And then we want to know how many infants you serve, how many toddlers you serve, how many preschoolers do you serve, right? And then if you serve any children 6 to 12 years old.
Hey Shannon,
Yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I think everybody kind of has the same question. What is pre-licensing? What are those docs? That's like our copy of our license, or is
So it is when you fill out the application and you pay that application fee, you're automatically assigned a license number. So once they send you that email with your license number, that's the documentation that you want to upload. And then the other is your pre-licensing training documents.
so is that like the certificates at the end of the Colorado?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Yep. Of course.
I also want to clarify, if you are a licensed program, you do not need to upload anything for pre-licensing. That's
Oh,
just for the folks who are not licensed yet.
perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Enola. Um, and then we want to know if you accept families participating in the Colorado Child Care Assistance Program, also known as CCAP. When you click yes, it's going to ask you how many. Do you accept families participating in universal pre-K? If you say no, it's not going to have you enter anything else. Same with Denver Preschool Program or DPP. When it comes to other programs, so if you have a special scholarship for your program, let's say you give teachers a certain discount, or you have parents that are having a hard time, so you have them on scholarship, you would want to hit yes, and you would want to describe it and then how many children are served. Okay. How many children in your program are dual language learners? How many how many children in your program are experiencing homelessness? Anola, will you make a note for me to change that to unhoused? How many children in your program have special care needs? So this could be having a disability, an IFSP, or an IEP. And then how many children in your program would not identify as white? Now down here, you'll see save as draft and submit as final. So you always want to hit save as draft after um, on each tab. Now you'll notice right here, you don't have a green check mark. And that is because we did not upload a file for the license. So it's going to ask, it's going to tell you that even though you just uploaded something, we don't know why. Oh, that's because it's not in a PDF format. So you see, you have to have this one in a PDF format. I don't have a PDF on my desktop right now, so we're just going to leave it as that. So then you want to go into your narratives. So this is your first narrative. You're going to tell us about your program, right? Speak about your mission, your philosophy. We want you to talk about your families and the community you serve and what sets you apart. Are you the only program within, a certain mileage? Different things like that. And then for the second part of your program narrative, we want you to talk about how this project is either going to increase your license capacity or maintain it. What barriers you're facing as a childcare provider. Is this funding needed to keep your program open or increase capacity? If you're starting a new program, what hurdles have you faced? So, you don't need to answer all these questions. This is just to help give you some idea of what we're looking for, right? How is this money going to make your program better? What obstacles are you facing, right? So this is really your opportunity to make that compelling case. If you were talking to somebody, how would you stress to them that you are in need of this funding? That's what you want to put here. And then this is the project narrative that we were talking about. So this is where you want to put what your project is, what you're doing, what the timeline is, what is needed, things like that. That should all go into this narrative. And then this is where you're going to upload those before photos. Okay. So you need at least three. If you have more, you can add up to 10 rows. But you'll see the three check marks here. That's going to tell you you are required to have three pictures. And we don't need to save because I didn't do anything, but I'm just so used to hitting save as draft. So next we're going to go to the budget table. So this is where you're going to put in, if you have a bid and they have split things out, like this is how much labor is going to cost, and this is how much materials are going to cost. You should list those out that way that the reviewers can see it. If you're not using a bid, but you're using more of a cart type situation, this is where you're going to enter that information. You don't have to, but here is where you can upload a picture if you're looking to. So let's say you are wanting to buy a sandbox. You would want to take a picture or a screenshot of the sandbox you're hoping to purchase, and you can put it right here. That way, our reviewers can understand what you're looking to purchase. The pictures right here are not required, but the other items where you see these little red asterisks or stars, that those are required. So you are going to need to put in the project budget items and the total cost. And again, you can add rows, you can add up to 10. If you're going to have more than 10 rows, you can put some things together, right? Like you can put nails and screws together, things like that. So we understand exactly what you're hoping to purchase. So here's where you're going to put in, don't know what just happened. Sorry, guys. So this is where you put in how much your project is going to cost and then the amount you're requesting. Not everybody requests $5,000. Some people only need 1,200. Some people only need 2,500. But this is where you'll put that. If your project costs more than the $5,000 you're asking for, in this box, you're going to want to explain how you're going to cover that extra $3,000. So, do you have a savings account? Did you get another grant? How are you covering that extra $3,000? Because again, our reviewers are really going to want to understand and know that you're going to finish the project, right? So if your project costs $8,000, but you're only asking for 5,000, they want to know you're going to be able to finish it and you have the money to do so. Okay. And then here's where you're going to upload your bids. Again, there's two of them that are required. You can add rows if you have multiple. All right. And then you have the affidavit at the end. So this is basically saying everything in the application is true, that you are licensed and in good standing with the state, and that we may verify any information in the application, and that you have that report that's due. So you'll just hit the I accept button. This is your electronic signature consent. So saying that your electronic signature is just as good as a physical signature. And then you would hit accept and you would type in your name and put in the date. We do have a general mailing list where we send things out quarterly, things about our grants, our scholarship programs, our councils. If you would like to be a part of that, you don't have to do anything. If you would like to opt out of it, you would want to click here. We don't send the emails to anyone else. They stay in-house. So you're not going to be bombarded with emails. So once you finish all of that, you're going to want to submit as final. And what it's going to tell me is that I don't have my program license there. It's not the only thing I don't have there, but it's going to tell you one at a time. So I'm not able to submit this as final because I don't have all of the documents. And that is it. What questions do we have? So I don't believe you can find a digital copy of your license. You're going to have to take a picture of it and upload it. There any other questions?
For the before pictures section, if we're trying to purchase like cubbies or something as far as startup costs, what would be the before pictures for that?
So where you are planning on putting them.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Martha, you're on mute, Martha. Martha, you're on mute, hon.
Perdón. Si el contratista va a hacer el trabajo, tiene que especificar con fotos también todo el material que se va a ocupar o solamente con una carta que diga que él
No,
lo va a hacer.
just a regular bid. They don't have to submit any pictures, just a regular bid.
Ok, gracias.
I have a question.
Sure.
So basically, in the basement, I have my daycare, and I don't have any appliances, not even once, except microwave. And I can't afford to buy appliances. It's make it very hard for me to make the food before daycare hours and transfer the food to the basement and just warm it up. So I'm planning to buy appliances, but when I went to see all the prices, they're more than $5,000. Cost more than $5,000. I need dishwasher, I need stove, and also fridge. So how that works? What if the budget is $5,000 and that costs $10,000? Let's say, right? And I don't have any saving to cover that cost. And also, I need someone to install it for me. I don't know how that works.
So, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to ask for that stuff through us because the most we can give is $5,000. You may have to look at going to your early childhood council and seeing if there's other types of grants, going to different places and pricing around, maybe just starting with one thing like a refrigerator and then going from there.
Okay, and last question I have. So, do I need to have a separate, like a PDF or something that it shows the cost of the appliances that I'm looking for under $5,000? And also, I need to upload all the pictures, or it just pictures is good enough?
You'll need both.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
And what's the deadline? When is the last day to submit the final application?
May 1st.
May 1st. Okay, thank you so much.
Uh-huh. Elia? Elia, did I say that right?
It's Elia.
Elia, I'm so sorry. I tried.
No worries. My question was, if you finish your project before the 12 months, can you do your like final
Yep,
12
absolutely.
month thing just whenever it's done?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Maria Garcia?
Momento. Sí, buenas tardes. Lo que yo quiero... ¿Sí me escuchan?
Yes.
Sí, no sé por qué, disculpe. Sí, yo lo que quiero preguntar es, yo tengo problemas con el agua, que no tengo agua donde yo doy comida, tengo que traer agua para lavarme las manos o correr al baño. Este dinero ayudaría también para abrir, por ejemplo, para mover mi boiler del garage y abrir ahí mi guardería en el garage.
Yes. Yes, it would, as long as you stay within that limit.
Muchas gracias.
Of course. Mara?
Hi, yeah, I just have, I guess, one question. So I just applied like last week for my license, and I like have a license number from my rep because I'm starting the whole process. So I just want to clarify that I could use like if I needed to do like some startup stuff, I would be able to use that. But then also if I need to do like an outside project, I could use it. Like, could I use it for both, or does that just have to be like a startup or improvements?
You can use it for both as long as you stay within that $5,000 limit.
Hi, Mariana. I had a question. I am also in my pre-licensing stage. So I am needing to have like my backyard done so I can have kids to play, so they can play outside, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But to like do like the contractors have to file like the guideline for like the playground rules that, there's actually like how it's supposed to be built? Do you know if they have to like kind of follow like the material that they're supposed to use for like say like I buy a swing set, right? Do like it has to be like either pebble rocks. I seen on the I guess on the what do you call it? On the one of the courses that I took, it kind of gave us guidelines on how our playground should be. So we do need to let our contractors know that we have to have like certain things in our playground or our backyard.
Yeah, you'll have to let them know that because they won't be familiar with early childhood. I mean, most won't be familiar with early childhood licensing regulations. Some might be, but you'll want to tell them about that so that you make sure it will pass licensing.
Okay, so like say if I need like sand or like the pebble stones and stuff like that, I just upload like all those pictures of like how much all that costs in order to have my backyard done.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Maria Lopez. Maria? Oh, sorry.
Everybody puts their hand up. It's the first. Oh,
Daisy?
yes. Hi.
Hi.
I've done daycare for 33 and a half years, and so my sod is wiped out. Can I use this grant to get more sod to put down?
You can definitely ask for it. I don't know that it'll just depend on the needs of the other programs. It's not considered a high need project. So it may not get funded.
What about the playground?
What about the playground? I have this what?
The playset.
I have this expensive playground set that I bought, and I'm looking for somebody to install it in my backyard.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I can use that grant for that?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Anola?
So I was just going to ask, there is a question in the chat that I wasn't sure about. They were wondering, is paint, like interior painting, would that count?
At this time, it does not.
Okay, and the same for exterior as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's just considered more of a home improvement and not something that's needed to keep a program open or expand or a licensing issue.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
So the question is, if I already did like a lot of projects in the past, like a year ago, for example, I did a sandbox and grass and all the landscaping. Can I still use the 5,000 grant for that, even though I already did that project like a year ago, or that only covers like new projects?
It only covers new projects. We cannot reimburse for things already done.
Okay.
I got a question.
Okay.
So if I want to replace my stove, but my kitchen, it's no license, it's not gonna cover that expensive, yeah?
So you're asking if
I
you
want to
can
buy a
ask
new
for a
stove.
stove. Yeah, you can ask for a new stove. If you're providing meals to the children in your care, it's something you need for licensing.
Even if my kitchen is not licensed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't put kids, I'm sure it's not licensed, so your kids aren't eating in there. Are you feeding them meals though?
I do.
Okay, then yeah, it would be covered.
All right, thanks.
Anola, do you still have a question?
I wanted to go back. Well, one, I wanted just to let folks know if they don't have any questions, they are welcome to go. And then the second thing, I just wanted to make sure that Mara had her question answered.
Antes de terminar la reunión, yo sí tengo una pregunta, pero solo hablo español.
Okay.
Mi aplicación sería, yo quiero poner un tejabán en mi casa, una sombra grande, ya que en la backyard no tengo sombra para los niños. Sé que en tiendas comerciales como Home Depot o Costco venden tejabanes ya hechos, pero a mí me gustaría hacer algo más resistente y contratistas me han hecho cotizaciones hasta de $8,000, $10,000. Yo pondría el resto. Entonces me gustaría preguntar si es válido que yo desee algo como algo más resistente con un contratista y no algo como Home Depot o Costco, que es más barato.
Yes, shade is an essential part of licensing for family childcare programs. So you can definitely ask for a type of shade structure, but you would need, for us, we would only be able to give you $5,000. So if you're looking at something that's more than that, you would need to find another way to help offset the funds.
Ok, gracias.
Maria Lopez.
¿Sí me pueden escuchar?
Yes.
Ok, perfecto. Yo también tengo una pregunta casi como María Guadalupe García. Necesito como arreglar la calefacción, la tubería donde voy a asistir a los niños porque la parte de atrás está muy fría y tengo que siempre utilizar un calentón extra y pues me gustaría mejor agarrarlo como de una sola pieza y así adaptar el aire acondicionado también porque no tengo aire acondicionado en la casa. Entonces quería saber si eso podría aplicar para eso.
Yes, absolutely.
Ok, gracias.
Of course. All right. Well, if you guys have questions while you're applying or think of any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, you guys all have a great day.
Sorry, last question. So to get the application, will be sent a link to it, or how do we access the application?
So if you go to our website, you can, which Enola just posted in, you can click on that and it'll take you to the application.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Just leave it open just in case anyone has a last minute question.
Sorry, Anola, where did
No.
you post the link?
So it is in the chat. Are you able to see the chat box?
Yeah, I'm looking here. 1 minute, I think it's down. 1 second. Okay, I just got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out, and I am going to go ahead and end the meeting.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, if we didn't take the first meeting, is that okay? It was in March?
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.